Students, today we are going to start the second chapter, O-Level Biology 5090. And today we will discuss only the first part of this chapter, and which classification of organisms. And classification of organisms, why do organisms are classified into groups and into subgroups? Because variety of organisms are available on this earth. So to recognize themselves, it was very compulsory to divide them into groups and subgroups. And they were divided on the basis of similarities and dissimilarities. And if they are similar, then they can be kept into one group. If they are different, they can be kept in different groups. So these were the reasons that the organisms were classified. Now I would like to read this. All living organisms are classified into groups based on basic shared characteristics. Organisms within each group are then further divided into smaller groups, larger groups, and from larger group to smaller groups. So in this way, they were classified. And these groups are based on more detailed similarities within each larger group. So they will have, if they are similar, so they will be in same group, otherwise in different groups. This grouping system makes it easier for scientists to study certain groups of organisms. So in this way, we can come to know about different characteristics and habits of the organisms, characteristics which were used to classify the organisms. They were appearance, mainly appearance, reproduction, mobility, and functionality. Or it means that how they look like, how they reproduce, how they move, how their bodies are functioning. So in this way, all these characteristics were the base of classification of organisms. So in this way, the organisms were classified into groups and subgroups. These were the reason as they were classified into groups and subgroups. Now question arises, the second, after classification, we came to know the different species of the organisms. So here is the definition of the species. The smallest natural group of organisms is the species. Smaller natural group of organisms means group of organisms living at a place. Living at a place, they can interbreed with one another, but not with the members of other species. Because when they will breed with one another, so in this way, they will be able to produce a fertile offspring. So this is you can say the perfect definition of the species, that group of organisms that can be produced to produce a fertile offsprings. It means the member of that species belong to the same species. So in this way, the group of organisms living at a place, they are interbreeding with one another, but not with the member of other species. So this is the correct definition of the species. I would like to move to the next, binomial system. So this was the system by which the organisms were divided into groups and subdivided into groups and subgroups. Binomial system of nomenclature. Bi means two, nomial naming, system. It means this name based on the onto two names. One as for example, the name which is internationally accepted. So I would like to, the binomial system of naming species is an internationally agreed system in which the scientific name of an organism is made up of two parts. Bi means two, naming. So showing the genus and the species. They use genus name and number two, species name. So by using these two names, they made one name. Binomial means two names. The first name gives the genus and the second gives the species. For example, the stoat and weasel are both in the genus Mustela. Stoat and weasel, genus is same, so species can be the different. But they are different species. The stoat is Mustela armenia it is scientific name in which the Mustela is its genus name, Armenia is its species name. And same, weasel is Mustela nivalis, in which Mustela is the genus name and nivalis is species name. The name of the genus, the generic name is always given a capital letter, always given a capital letter, and the name of the species, the specific name always starts with a smaller letter. As you can say, M, which is genus name, it starts with capital letter, and nivalis is species name, so it starts with smaller letter. So in this way, the scientists divide the organisms or name the organisms by the binomial nomenclature or binomial system of classification. Would like to move towards the next slide. And in next slide, you can see the classification of human beings. Human beings, we are human beings. So we belong to the kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata. Phylum Chordata is further divided into phylum Vertebrata, so on. But here I would like to write or discuss the only major. And phylum Chordata is further divided into class Mammalia, order primates, family Hominidae, genre or genus is Homo or species Sapiens. It means many species, when they combine together, they will make up one genre, and many genres make one family, and many families make one order, and many orders make one class, and many classes make one phylum, and many phyla make one kingdom, and kingdoms make domain. So in this way, I would like to say Homo sapiens is internationally accepted name. Wherever in the world, Homo sapien means the human beings. Next, dichotomous key. Dichotomous keys is actually made by the biologists to identify the organisms. So dichotomous key in the field, biologists use dichotomous keys to identify organisms. Dichotomous key A, chart, it is actually a chart that identify the organisms based on their characteristics, whether they have four legs, whether they have wings, or whether they have other characteristics in common. So on the base of different characteristics, the scientists are able to find out the or to identify the organisms that they belong to the different groups. It used to be excluding organisms based on their observable features. Okay, now I would like to move example of this dichotomous key. How do we can use the dichotomous key? So here you can say, students, the diagram shows an arthropod. This is an arthropod. They have given an example of arthropod, which is A vertebrates or belongs to the phylum, subphylum Avertebrata. Using the key, what correctly identify the arthropod in the picture? It has two wings. Yes, it has number one, number two wings. It means do not have wings. If it has wings, then we have to move towards the two. If it does not have wings, it means it is A. So it has two wings, so we will move towards the question number 2. Has two body parts. 1, 2, 3. It has three body parts. If it has two body parts, then its answer is B. So it has three body parts. Then we have to move towards the 3. Has 6 legs. If it has 6 legs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it has 6 legs, then the answer is C. If it has more than 6 legs, then the answer can be the D. But here you can see it has 6 legs. So the answer is C. So this is the best way to identify the organism. Dichotomous key is very important in this case. Now I would like to move towards the next slide, in which we will discuss the different feature of the organisms. All living organisms, certain features in common. For example, the organisms have different features in common, already discussed in chapter 1, including the presence of cytoplasm. All organisms have cytoplasm, cell membrane, and DNA as genetic material. It's correct. All organisms also contain ribosomes in the cytoplasm, floating freely or attached to membrane called rough endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum means a transport membranous transport system inside the cell. So ribosomes are sometimes freely available in the cytoplasm, or they are attached on the endoplasmic reticulum. So, but their function is protein synthesis. So in this way, these are the different features, as for example, cytoplasm, cell membrane, DNA, ribosomes, mitochondria. They can be common features of the organisms. I would like to move towards the next slide. Now, first of all, we will discuss the animal kingdom. According to the syllabus, we will discuss the animal kingdom. Animal kingdom, the animals are multicellular organisms whose cells have no cell wall, no chloroplast, ingest solid food and digest it internally. So these are the common major characteristics of the animal kingdom. That is, they are multicellular, consist of many cells, they don't have cell walls, they don't have chloroplast. So they don't have chloroplast, it means they are unable to manufacture their food. So they depend on ready-made food. So they ingest solid food and then digest that solid food internally by the digestive system in the body. So now we will discuss the different members of this animal kingdom, or different classes of this animal kingdom. And there are some other characteristics of this kingdom, Animalia, common characteristics of animal kingdom. They are multicellular, they are eukaryotic. Eukaryotic means they have proper nucleus. They have proper nucleus. Heterotrophic, cannot manufacture their food, so they depend on ready-made food, have cell specialization. That is, they have labor of work among different uh, cell parts, lack cell walls, glucose stored as glycogen, extra glucose is stored in the body in the form of glycogen. Sexual mode or asexual reproduction. Few organisms have asexual reproduction, but most of them have sexual reproduction. So all these are the common characteristics which can be found among all of the organisms or the animals. Next, animal kingdom or the animals, they are vertebrates or invertebrates. But here I am going to discuss about the vertebrates. What are the vertebrates? Vertebrates are those organisms which have backbone. They are with backbone. So only about 2% of all animals are vertebrates. Only 2% are invertebrates. Only 2. Vertebrates belongs to phylum Chordata. Phylum Chordata was further divided into vertebrata. Vertebrates include fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. And the general characteristics and eukaryotic cells, lag cell walls, all vertebrates have these characteristics. Period of embryonic development. Period of embryonic development, they pass through many developmental stages. So those are called as embryonic development. Animals are consumers. Animals can move. Muscles and nervous tissues. Animals are diploid. They have complete set of chromosomes. So these are the characteristics of vertebrates. Now I would like to move towards the next slide, in which first of all we will discuss class Mammalia or mammals. We will discuss only general characteristics of them and some examples. The main features of Mammalia are what? Body covered with hair. Yes, all mammals have their bodies covered with hair. They are warm-blooded animals. Warm-blooded animals. This means they are able to maintain their body temperature. They are able to maintain their body temperature means whether there is change in the environmental temperature from 0 to any other temperature, very low temperature or very high temperature, but our bodies or mammals body maintains their body temperature. As for example, human beings have average temperature 37 degree centigrade, so it will not change because we have a proper you can say in internal environmental homeostasis due to which our bodies are unable to change our body temperature. So we are called as warm-blooded animals, or all mammals are called as warm-blooded. Possesses projecting external ear. Our ears externally projecting out. Breathe through the lungs. We have lungs, give birth to young ones. Youngs are suckle milk from mammary glands present in the mother, means mammary glands are present in mammals, usually have tails and forelimbs, tails or forelimbs, usually, but not all mammals have tails or they walk on four legs. So these are the common, you can say, or the characteristics which are. Next group is fishes. Fishes are, you can say, are not warm-blooded, they are cold-blooded. Means if there is change in the environmental temperature, so their body temperature will also change. They lay eggs, but some do give birth to the live. Only some. Have a moist skin covered in scale. Body is moist because they live in water and they breathe through gills. So these are the general characteristics of fishes. Next are amphibians. Amphibians are also cold-blooded animals. They lay eggs, have a smooth, moist skin. Their skin are also very smooth and slippery. They are able to live on land as well as on water. That is, some of them can live on water, some of them can live in water, but some of them are which both live on land and on water. So toad, frog, all these are can be the example of these amphibians. So they are also cold-blooded, and during the you can say the when the environment is not favorable for them, so they hibernate underground, and when there is favorable environment for them, they come out of from that from their hibernation. Next are reptiles. Reptiles are cold-blooded creatures. Again, they are also cold-blooded animals. The body of a reptile is covered with scale, dry scale. They are dry scale. They are not moist or slippery, or when the reptiles' bodies become too warm, when their bodies heat up, they can go into the water or shade to cool off. They come out of, they come out, you can say the lizards at your home. When the reptiles' bodies become too cold, they can hang out in the sun to warm themselves up. So reason is that they are cold-blooded animals, so their bodies are unable to maintain their body temperature. So they have to be, sometimes they hibernate and sometimes they hang out in the sun. So but they have dry scale, body scaly, but have dry scales. Next are the birds. Birds are a group of warm-blooded. Again, as mammals, the birds are also warm-blooded. They can also maintain their body temperature. Vertebrates constitutes the class Aves, characterized by feathers. They have feathers on their body. They have feathers on their body. Toothless, beaked jaws. Yes, they have beaks. The laying of hard-shelled eggs. So they lay eggs which have hard shells, a high metabolic rate because they are warm-blooded, a four-chambered heart just like human beings, and a strong yet lightweight skeleton. Lightweight skeleton. So that is the reason they can fly in the air with the help. They have wings. They have wings. So that is the reason uh, they can fly into the air. So body should also be lightweight, that they have to fly in the air. So in this way, I would like to say the birds are also warm-blooded, lay eggs, they have beaks, they have a four-chambered heart, and they are light in weight, and they have wings and can fly into the air. So students, it was all about today's lesson. Please like, share, and subscribe my channel. And thank you so much.